What if the key to wealth isn't luck or big bets? It's repeating tiny, boring choices until they compound. Today, we break down a concrete habit pattern used by many financially successful Americans. This isn't flashy advice. It's a simple system you can start this month. We call it the Money Operating System, or MOS. It turns long-term goals into small automatic moves you barely notice. The idea is to turn money management into a routine, not a puzzle you try to solve every week. First, you build a real baseline by tracking every dollar for 30 days. You write down every purchase, every subscription, and every accidental slip. This is not about judgment, it's about truth. By the end, you'll see where your money actually goes, not where you wish it went. This sounds boring, but it's the fastest way to see waste you didn't know existed. At the end, you'll know what you truly need and what you can cut without pain. Some patterns will surprise you, like how much tiny daily costs add up over a month. Take notes on patterns, how much you spend on dining out, entertainment, or apps you never use. You'll see a few dollar signs turn into real choices. The goal here is not restriction for its own sake. It's a map you can use to save without feeling deprived. Next, you split your money into 3 buckets. This is the core habit that keeps you from swerving from your plan. The buckets give you clarity and a slowdown button when temptation strikes. You don't have to reinvent your entire life to start this. Bucket A is your spending account. It covers bills, groceries, transport, and everyday costs. Bucket B is for savings and investing, the money that grows over time. Bucket C is for big goals and a safety net, like a home fund, a vacation fund, or emergency money. Keep Bucket C separate so you plan for the future and for shocks. Set up automatic transfers on payday. Move a fixed amount to each bucket so you never have to decide in the moment. When the money moves automatically, behavior changes before your brain even blurts out a rational excuse. You win because the system runs on autopilot while you stay in control. A practical starting split is 50% to bucket A, 25% to bucket B, and 25% to bucket C. You can adjust the numbers with your income, but automate first. If you're carrying debt, you might tilt more toward bucket B's debt payoff portion until you get a rhythm. If your income is low, start with a smaller percentage and scale up as you can. Bucket A handles needs and bills. Bucket B funds your future with low-cost index funds. Bucket C stores money for big goals and emergencies. The word funds is intentional here. You want to separate your costs from your long-term growth. The separation keeps what you need today from what you want to build for tomorrow. When you automate, you remove excuses. You also remove the daily friction that makes people fall behind. Automating does not mean you stop thinking. It means you choose to think about the big picture in the moments that matter the least. On the investing side, choose broad, low-fee index funds or a target date fund if you want a simple path. Avoid trying to pick the next big stock. The odds favor you when you own the whole market rather than hoping for a few lucky picks. This is how many financially successful Americans approach investing. Simple, broad exposure, and consistent contribution. Keep fees low, avoid lottery-style bets, and stay consistent. Fees eat returns faster than many people realize, and consistency compounds quietly in the background. You aren't looking for excitement, you're looking for stability and growth that lasts. Open a retirement account first, especially if your employer offers a match. The match is free money, and missing it is like leaving cash on the table. If you're new, start with a modest amount. As you grow more comfortable, increase the automatic transfers by a small percentage each quarter. If you're in a position to contribute more, aim to capture the employer match and then push beyond it. The math becomes clear quickly. A small extra bite each month turns into a comfortable nest over time. The real power here is the habit, not a heroic effort you can't sustain. That's the annual sprint part. Each time you get a raise or a cost of living bump, add 1 to 3% of your income to bucket B and bucket C after your base amounts are set. It's a deliberate curve, not a cliff. You don't feel the pain because you're lifting a little at a time as your wallet expands. This keeps your standard of living honest while your wealth grows in the background. You're not depriving yourself, you're moving forward a little every year. The savings you think you don't have today becomes real tomorrow because you didn't wait for a grand moment to start. Lifestyle inflation is the fence that stops people from building real wealth. The disciplined Americans we admire live within means and let compounding do the heavy lifting. They don't pretend money grows on trees. They plant it in a garden that keeps giving, year after year. Consistency beats bursts of brilliance. A small, boring routine that you never break will outperform any wild, irregular effort. The MOS is built for that. It asks for steadiness more than speed, daily effort more than dramatic acts. A few obstacles show up: busy weeks, emergencies, or tempting sales. When that happens, go back to the baseline 30 days and re-aim your buckets for the short term. You don't abandon the plan, you just adjust the inputs so the outputs stay on track. Keep it simple. If you miss a week, don't quit. Just reset the next week and keep moving. The system works because it's not about perfection. It's about repetition that sticks. The more you repeat, the more you see the results in real life. Less stress about money and more confidence about the future. In practice, you'll see your balances rise, your debt shrink, and your investment accounts grow, even if you never win a lottery. The numbers aren't the point alone. The habit is. The habit protects you from big losses and builds a path to meaningful growth with little drama. Many financially successful Americans started small and acted on a plan even when they felt unsure. They didn't rely on luck, and they didn't chase fast wins. They built a reliable system that works in the long run, rain or shine, week after week. Now it's your turn to try. Start with 30 days of tracking, set up the 3 buckets, and automate the transfers. If you've never done this before, begin with the simplest possible setup and add layers as you gain confidence. If you want a quick checklist, I'll put a simple one in the description after we finish this. It will include a 30-day tracking sheet, a setup guide for the 3 buckets, and a reminder to automate. You can print it, hang it on the fridge, and tick off each step as you go. If you found this useful, like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments what you'll automate first. I want to hear your plan and your questions. I'll respond to every thoughtful comment and share ideas that fit your situation. Share your progress, ask questions, and I'll reply. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress that compounds. Over time, you'll look back and see that the simple system you started with became your steady foundation. Let me give you a few quick examples of how this can feel in real life. A nurse with a modest salary starts with 30 days of tracking and then uses the MOS to separate a portion of every paycheck into an investment pot. Within a couple of years, her retirement balance begins to look respectable, and she has a small emergency fund that she can rely on without panicking. A freelancer shifts a small percentage of every payment into bucket B and sees a consistent rise in her investment accounts, even as her workload fluctuates. Another example: a parent who wants a home within 5 to 7 years sets bucket C to accumulate a down payment and an emergency cushion. Bucket A covers all daily costs, ensuring there's no last-minute scramble for bills. The automation means spending stays predictable, and the dream of home ownership stays in reach instead of drifting away. These outcomes aren't miracles. They come from turning a few sound ideas into routines that you never abandon. The MOS is about making the boring parts of money work for you, quietly and reliably. If you want to hear more real-world tweaks, I can share how to tailor the 3-bucket split to your situation, how to choose funds with the lowest fees, and a weekly 15-minute review that keeps the system sharp. Tell me what you want to adjust: your debt situation, your income level, or your timeline, and I'll tailor the steps. Thanks for watching. Remember, wealth isn't one big moment. It's a series of small decisions you repeat for years. The money operating system helps you turn those decisions into a habit you can count on. If you found value here, like, subscribe, and drop a comment with the first thing you'll automate this week. Your plan doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to start. Let's see how far a small, steady system can take you.